talking with Colin about, pace in the playoffs. You get the feel of every second day. This is obviously a different animal in the American Hockey League. Is this one of your big challenges here, or at this stage of the season there is no challenge for these guys to get up for a game like we're going to see possibly Friday night?
Well, I don't think it's as much of a challenge to get up for the game. It's a challenge mentally to get through these days, for sure. We do have some experience having gone through it last season. So from that sense of it, I think we had a pretty good plan in terms of how to deal with it from a staffing point of view and how to handle the schedule. But yeah, it's tough to get through these days. The players want to play games. It's this time of year, they want to play games. That's what they're in it for. Grinding through the practices and the workouts and the meetings is not much fun for them. So we're excited here now to get on the plane, get out there, and then get ready for the game.
As Cali gets closer, is there a worry of the organization where obviously the big picture is him healthy, Maple Leafs possibly next season, and managing that outlook given what you've got to get done here and how close he is to returning to active duty?
Well, players' well-being is the number one priority always. So regardless of what any one particular player's individual situation might be beyond this season, you're always going to do what's right for the players. So we're going to take it slowly with him and make sure that he feels right, to make sure medically and from the trainers that they feel good about where he's at, and we'll make a decision. I'm not sure that he or us are ready to make that call here quite yet, but he's going to come on the trip with us and remain a part of it. And once he feels he's ready to go and medically that they feel confident, then obviously we'll have him in.
You didn't shy away from inserting Mac or Joey. Is it the same kind of mentality with Jesper if you guys need him? Do you feel comfortable using him, and what have you seen out of him over the last few days?
I do feel comfortable. He looks really good out there, very calm and poised, like he did with us last year in the small sample that he played. But I think he's at another level right now based on the season that he had and the extra experience that he's gained. Obviously, we're getting to a situation here now because Hollowell's played well, Joey's played well for us. We're going to have to make some tough decisions now, and it's a good problem for us to have. We haven't had those situations and those problems much of the season. So it's a good problem for us to have for sure. So we're gonna continue to monitor that tomorrow and make a decision based on what we're going to do. And I'm not there quite yet. I want to continue to give Jesper extra chances to feel comfortable. I'll have a conversation with him and we'll make a decision.
You talked a lot about how you always want to add more tools to the toolbox for forwards and such. With someone like Mason Marchman, how are you guys, or how have you been throughout the year trying to make him a more versatile player?
Well, I think it's just continuing to evolve his offensive game, understanding how and when to protect the puck, how and when to attack the net. Then it's also just decision making on the ice and recognizing when it's time to maybe look to poke a puck and go on offense versus stay on the defensive side, use his physicality to slow down the other team's transition. Those little decision making pieces all over the ice on both sides of the puck are an important part of Mason's development. And then, just finding some rhythm and some consistency. He's had some unfortunate setbacks with injuries, and credit to him for putting in the work. First of all, to even be healthy enough to play in these playoffs, coming off the surgery that he had. He really pushed himself to be ready to play, but finding some extra consistency and rhythm and not get interrupted by injuries is really the next big thing for him. Really right from training camp of this year with the Leafs, he was behind the 8 ball. So that's an area. There's a combination of bad luck and combination of things he wants to continue to work at in the gym.
With the possibility of Charlotte adding some guys, you kind of cheering for Carolina a little bit to stretch out that other series, keep them up there.
Yeah, you know what? They've got some good players up there for sure, but there's no shortage of good players that are with their club and have been with their club. They swept a very good Hershey team, and they've been number one in the league from virtually right from the beginning, and they've had this situation with guys up and down all year, injuries and what have you. So we recognize they're so deep that even if they send guys down, they're going to have good players that aren't going to be able to play for them. So I don't think it's going to have that much of an impact on their team, frankly. They're in a good place, and they're a confident group as they should be. They're going to give us everything that we can handle, and we're going to have lots to prepare for.
Brooks was just telling me he feels like he's at a new level in these playoffs, and after 2 kind of up and down years, he's really feeling it right now. What have you seen out of him through the handful of games so far?
Yeah, I see that. I see lots of confidence. He's skating with lots of confidence, a little extra a little extra push in his stride, just because I think that comes with confidence, and the more comfortable you get, you really push yourself rather than being a little tentative. So he looks faster, a little more confident. Trevor Moore on his wing helps him have to skate to keep up with him, but also there's great chemistry there too. So Brixie's been, he's been leading our team in ice time on the forward side of it most nights, and taking on a lot of responsibility in that sense, and has done really well, whether we've used him in power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5. He's been real good.
What's the biggest difference you see in the Jeremy Bracco of today versus the Jeremy Bracco of 12, 18 months ago? I mean, he readily admits his pride was hurt by having to watch last spring. How is he different?
His confidence is different, and a lot of that is just because of extra opportunity. Really, he was never short on confidence, but there was some insecurity there, obviously, because he hadn't proven himself at this level in terms of being able to adjust and play at this level and produce like he's been accustomed to at previous levels. So clearly, he's gotten over that, and he's been a guy that even here in the playoffs, where it's hard to find ways to produce, he's done so. So that's where he's really grown, and plus he just knows and feels that he's such a vital part of our team. So he comes to the arena with energy and brings that out to the ice. And in that sense, there's some leadership elements that he's brought to the table this year that really help push and drive our team and get through tough times.
Is it part of him learning to be a pro, like just learning that it's not junior anymore, and there's different responsibilities, different things you have to do to take care of yourself?
Yeah, that's part of it for sure. Probably the biggest part of it last year in terms of how we took the big picture approach, focusing on things off the ice, habits, nutrition, conditioning, strength, all of those types of things. So he's made big strides in that. Like I said, he's played a lot for us this year, and has found ways to play despite the fact that other teams are targeting him and paying attention to him. That's probably the other thing that's new this year to last year. He's a marked man when he's on the ice, and they're well aware of him. They're preparing for him, but he's still finding ways to produce. So taking care of himself off the ice and being prepared mentally and physically for those challenges has really helped him.
You forged a relationship with Brendan Shanahan the past few years. How do you feel about him signing the extension?
Well, I think it's outstanding. I mean, he's been. I just look at the Marlies in the vision that he's had for the minor league club. The way that we are able to approach things here and the resources that we have to develop players for the Maple Leafs. It's as good as any, and I think that's been part of his vision, and it's been a privilege to be a part of the organization, and we're happy to see him continue with it.
Sheldon, I think in October, November, a lot was said about the differences between this year's team and last year's team. There was a lot of focus on what was lost. Did that kind of focus serve as maybe bulletin board material for this team, to prove people wrong that this team is still good despite everything you lost?
I don't think that was the case. That's not something we spoke of as a group or anything like that. We looked at this year as an entirely different group, entirely different challenge, despite there being some similarities and obviously some of the same people. The challenges this team faced were unlike anything that last year's had to ever deal with. And we're a team that had to find its way a lot of different times, whether it was goaltending inconsistency or injury problems or the defense being depleted, just roster changes and fluctuations. I don't know how many players we ended up using this year, but it was a lot and a lot of different faces at different times, and we've had to rely on 18 and 19-year-old defensemen Milligren and Sandin to just play so many minutes for us and find us through tough times of the season. The team has really grown, and it's been great to be a part of. The players have really come together. Obviously, the veteran group has been the foundational piece for us. They've been rock solid. But when you look at the contributions from the young people and how they developed and how they've pushed our team to another level, and that's the biggest part of why we're continuing to play today. And that's really what I think is vital. If you're going to succeed in the AHL, your young players that have the talent, that are looking to develop, those are the guys that drive your team. Look at our team last year. It's Andreas Johnson and Trevor Moore and these types of guys at the season that they have. their development really pushes you to another level. And this year it's Bracco, it's Sandon, it's Lilligren, it's Kaskasuo here now in the playoffs. And then it's everybody else doing their part. But the young people going to another level has really helped us.